I've got $6 million for you to continue watching until the end of this. You see, a lady named Jessi Jean from Instagram just made $6 million on a Yap challenge. I had no idea even what a Yap challenge was. Though when I engaged in the challenge, only because my wife signed up, and when I read through exactly what she did and how she did it, I realized I was so excited that she instinctively had the success that she had, and she followed the blueprint. Well, not really. But she did follow the process that we teach inside of our iLove Coaching Blueprint. And I'm going to share that process with you today. Because if she can instinctively do it and make $6 million, you can do it intentionally. Now, let's take a look at who Jessi Jean is. If you can go follow her on Instagram right now, I believe it's Jessi Jean. Home is the Instagram handle. She's a mom in her mid-30s who, ironically, was a former coach in the eating disorder space. Her transition from the eating disorder coaching space to the furniture refurbishing selling business on Instagram, simply to make ends meet, is where her journey begins. After listening to her story, she said she started a new Instagram account fourth quarter of last year, and her commitment was one post a day. That account now on Instagram is probably approaching 500,000 followers 8 months later. But she didn't build that channel to launch the Yap challenge. She built that channel to build authority and exposure around her furniture flipping business. But she did it with 4 pillars. And I believe those 4 pillars were the furniture flipping space, the millennial career challenging space, her financial world, and I believe there was a 4th pillar in there somewhere else. But here's what she fell into. She fell into realizing that her followers, her engagers, wanted to learn exactly how she was, quote unquote, yapping on camera. And yapping on camera with a microphone just like this is what she learned that her followers wanted to engage with her to learn how to do. So for the rest of the podcast, I'm going to hold this as a thank you to Jessi Jean for building what she did. Okay, not really. I'm getting rid of this. But let's get to the net of it. 22,000 people roughly paid her $297 to learn how she yapped on camera. Now you may be thinking, okay, Adam, that's great for her. But what does that really have to do with building my coaching business? And I'm going to tell you everything. Because what she did exactly is what I teach inside of the iLove Coaching Blueprint. And she just built it without even knowing that she was following the blueprint. And I'm going to teach that to you right now. Here's what most coaches do. They build an offer first and wonder why no one's buying it. Or they'll make posts and content and just pray that it goes viral and skip all the hard work in between. And none of it will work the way they hoped it would because they're missing and you're missing the foundation of it all. And I'm going to reference Jessi Jean in this. She did the exact same thing. She had the same problem. First, she started in the binge eating coaching space, and she did that for 7 years. She said she did $2.7 million in sales in that space in 7 years. And yet she still couldn't figure out how to speak and talk directly to the camera without getting hives on her chest. She had spent years building inside of someone else's framework and someone else's system and someone else's offer. And yet she had become a mom and needed something new. And what did she do? She completely started fresh, started new. She didn't quite frankly know what she was building, even though she knew she wanted to build something that was completely hers. Stay with me here, because what happened next is exactly where it gets interesting. And it's the part that most coaches skip completely. So let's talk about the first thing that she did instinctively is she found a specific problem and built a specific solution to it. You see, most coaches, what they'll do is they will just kind of go all over the place and macro solve problems. Let me pull this up again. She found a specific problem. I have challenges using a little microphone speaking into a camera. I have insecurities. I have fears. I have you fill in the blank there. She found that from her followers. And then what did she do? She came up with a solution. And here was the crazy part about the quote unquote solution. At first, she gave the solutions in her reels. She gave it in her posts. Go follow her, Jessi Jean Home on Instagram. And as she continued to make posts about how to yap on camera, she realized that the followers, her avatar, were engaging in that content at a higher level than her furniture refurbishing, than her financial pieces, than her millennial career crisis. So, what did she ultimately do? She started to realize that she could package that solution into a sellable offer. And that sellable offer had what? A clear payoff. And what was that? It was by the end of her challenge, you will know how you can create 40 posts yapping into a microphone, build a repeatable system, and you'll know how now to have success with a little microphone and a camera. And if you followed me long enough, you know that that's what I call a smart offer. A specific person, a specific problem with a specific result, with a specific time frame. Now, she didn't call it that, but it's exactly what it is. And the moment that she had clarity on that, everything else fell into place. And if you study what Jessi Jean did, a lot of coaches will miss this. She didn't launch a product on day one. She posted every single day for months before she ever asked for anything. She showed up. She shared her journey. Her journey were her finances, her fears, her family. She became real. She was transparent in a way that felt almost uncomfortably real. And what she was doing without even knowing it was she was making deposit after deposit after deposit and building what we know internally as what I call the trust ledger with her audience. Now, this is the one specific thing that I told you at the top of the video that nearly every coach will never do. And what is that thing? Consistency. What they'll do is they'll show up for a few weeks, they don't see results, and they ask for the sale or withdrawal before the account is full of deposits. Jessi Jean did not do that. She kept making deposits month after month after month. And when she finally opened the doors to a Yap challenge, go back to this Yap challenge into the camera, over 22,000 people said yes. Why? Because her trust account was full. You can't make any withdrawals until you've made enough deposits. And quite frankly, that's what she did. And that number that tells you whether your own trust account is full enough to make a withdrawal, I'm going to give you that before this video ends. Now, here's the third thing that she did. And this is the one that actually made the money because the offer was clear. The trust was built. This is what made people feel like they absolutely had to say yes. She connected a payoff to a pain that was specific, real, and widespread. The fear of showing up on camera with a microphone is not a niche problem. How many people are on Instagram? I believe it's 2 billion. How many people are on Facebook? I believe it's 3 billion. How many people grab a microphone like this every day with a camera like that every day and are terrified to push record? Here's the thing. Guess what? She had lived that fear. Remember, she got hives on her chest and she had overcome it. And she could prove that it was possible to do. Why? Because she had proof. That's what I call a problem solution cycle. Her story was not the destination. It was the bridge between the problem and the solution. She used her own transformation to point people to their opportunity to transform. And as I've said, that is the problem solution cycle. And she showed it at the highest level. Your job is to find the problem your ideal client, your ideal avatar is desperate to solve. Here's the key. Build the solution only you can build. Use your story as the working proof and package it with a payoff that they can see themselves achieving. People don't buy coaching. They buy the results at the end of it. Jessi Jean knew her result and she has $6 million to show for it. So here's the question I told you to hold on to and wait for at the beginning of the video. The one I wanted you to answer about your own coaching business right now. Do you have a specific problem that your coaching business solves right now? Not a general space, a specific, painful, a real problem that a specific person is desperate to solve right now. Do you have a clear payoff, something measurable and real that your client can point to at the end of working with you? And are you making deposits before you ask for withdrawals? That's showing up, giving value, adding praise, building trust before you open your mouth to sell. If the answer is no to any of those, or I'm not sure, that's not a content problem. That's not a visibility problem. That is an offer problem. And the offer is exactly where everything should start. Jessi Jean figured that out instinctively. And I built the ILC blueprint so you don't ever have to figure that out the hard way. Now, I also told you that I would give you the number that shows whether your trust account and your offer are ready. It's simple. It's called my sellable offer scorecard. 15 questions, 5 categories, 4 minutes to complete. It tells you exactly where your offer stands right now and what specifically is holding it back. So what I want you to do, I want you to go to ilovecoachingco.com/scorecard and go take it. I'll put the link below in the show notes. Jessi Jean built her YAP challenge, $6 million instinctively. You get to do it with a blueprint. Subscribe, and I'll see you next time.